Today you are on top of my camera for a full wedding day. You can see all of my settings, the images, and then at the end of this video, we're actually going to edit all the images that you see in this video. But first, a drone tries to steal my pizza.
Jackson, shooting 67 weddings last year.
Taylor Jackson, welcome.
So Taylor, you are well known in this community. You're an amazing photographer.
Oh, hello there. You might have seen some of this footage in the 30-day free wedding photography course. If you have not yet ventured over there, there is a 30-day free wedding photography course on my YouTube channel. Feel free to check it out. This is just the full compilation of all of the footage that I shot on this day because it's one of my favorite weddings ever. It was also on my birthday of last year, July 14th. So shout out to July 14th. Starting off with some details, just kind of basic safety shots in case I can't get in here whenever they light the candles or if cocktail hour just like happens to descend upon this room. Just making sure that I have enough to kind of cover myself just in case. I usually go through the room with a 24 first, and then today I'm doing the 58. Sometimes it's an 85, sometimes it's 50. Like to mix it up. This is a black and white photo. This is the first black and white photo I think I've ever posted on my YouTube channel. I don't spend a whole lot of time doing details. I've noticed that the more that I do weddings, the more that people really care about the actual interaction and less about the actual monetary things. It's nice to have the documentary shot of everything, but I definitely, my clients as well, definitely prefer that I spend a lot more time actually photographing the people and the humans that are at the wedding rather than the stuff, which I am totally cool with. That said, I do understand that there is a place for the documentary style images of this section of the day. I just try to do them in a time that doesn't actually conflict with anything that's happening that I actually want to be taking photos of. This is my over-the-top focusing ring because my focus ring is along the grass there. It's not grass. I don't know what I'm talking about. Now we're on the floor, the grass floor, carpet, taking photos of shoes. This is always a hard shot. It's always obstructed. It worked out today. So don't get too upset if you miss a small section of the day, and don't let that throw you off for the rest of the day. Just keep going with it and doing the best you possibly can in every situation. This worked out super good. The direction of that light is really, really fantastic. Window light is by far my favorite light. Usually when I get into a room, I turn off all the incandescent and fluorescent lights and just see what it looks like, just windows only. And then sometimes I go outside and I shoot through the window and I get some of my favorite photos that way with the weird reflections and the lines and everything that all came together to make a great image there. This is the first look. Marshall, who you can see also pointing a camera. We're crossing the streams here where I'm photographing the groom's reaction. Marshall is photographing Rachel coming down the stairs. And we kind of work together enough to know exactly what we're doing at most times, and typically Marshall is probably on a 24-70 or a wider prime when I'm on my 70-200, and that goes for the ceremony, that goes for this moment. We're just doing photo today. Usually we're doing photo and video coverage, so it's I guess a lot cleaner of a process to show you guys because all we're doing is photos. Also, first look is a little bit more challenging when you're doing photo video coverage because usually one of you has to kind of roll on that because everything does happen really fast. And one thing I don't love is just like staging the first look and making the bride walk and stop and then like reset and replace and action, and it's a nightmare. So better this way. It was actually raining outside, so we couldn't go outside, which is super unfortunate. Very beautiful surroundings, but we had to do all the photos before the ceremony inside, which is cool because we have this little corner room that it seemed like it was going to be nice, and then after we popped a few frames, it's actually like really incredible. And you'll see in post-production at the end of this video, or in about 10 minutes from now, I guess, all of the things that I do to create these images, and it's really not a whole lot. It's kind of like a preset action click and then just working with some simple things from there. So stick around if you're interested in that. So we did everything in this room. It was the best light, and then also there was some other stuff going on in the main room. They're setting up for the ceremony or this cocktail hour. So I did my best to kind of work within the elements here. If you know me and you know my style, I tend to move a lot, and when I am stuck in a room, it's actually really hard. My nightmare is in front of just like a white backdrop. I like to be able to interact with elements and move around, and I like the randomness of nature, and sometimes you just end up in a spot that the lighting is amazing or something inspires you. you. And today it was actually this room. This room was really awesome, and I was really excited, strangely, to shoot in here. As you can see, Marshall get nice and close. I'm on my 58 right here. Today I have my 58 1.4 and my 24 1.4, as well as my 7200 that I use usually for first look and usually for the ceremony, just because I want to make sure that if anything happens that I can zoom and I can get around any possible obstructions from somebody trying to get in the way of the image or putting an iPad up or whatever might happen. With primes in this situation, because I'm in control of everything, it's very easy, but as soon as I'm not really in control of all the elements, it's easier to go with that 7200. I do not like the 24-70 overall as a main wedding lens because I find that it makes me lazy, and I also don't love the look of a lens at 2.8. So to be kind of stuck at 2.8 and also from like a 24-70, not really into it. However, I do like that 7200 as a zoom. Is anybody else thirsty? I feel like I've been talking very fast. One moment, please. So these are a lot more serious than my typical wedding portraits would be. I'm usually just like really fun and happy. These guys just really came together to create something that looked really elegant and really high end. So I kind of went with that look. Obviously, I still got the stuff that I would usually get, but I'm a little bit more focused on doing things that are a little bit outside of my comfort zone of a usual wedding day, and also just having all of the extra time, because one of the things that happens whenever you're able to go outside is you spend a lot of time walking and doing unnecessary things that aren't photographing. Here we just literally had only photography time, and here I'm going to show you kind of all the variations that I would typically get from just a single prime lens. So just from the 58, all of these kind of variations that you can get very quickly, and they happen naturally that Rachel just kind of looked down like that, and I thought it looked good and went with it, and super happy with those images. Always shooting couple both for the couple first, and also for the venue, just to have. I know from marketing that I'm a preferred vendor here, so I want to give them as many marketing materials as I possibly can, so that they continue to refer me, so that I can buy more pizzas and have it stolen by drones. My ceremony setup is usually just 7200, and then I have on my left arm usually 24 1.4 just as a backup, and then also I'll grab a few wide shots. I find wide shots don't typically, they just don't sit the best with me in this specific situation and good light. What I would use a wide shot a lot more for is if the lighting is just like really poor and that I can't get like a good clean close up of everybody coming down the aisle. Here the light is really amazing, so I have no struggles today, except for the rain, but whatever. Also, you might be able to hear Lindsay listening to the Kardashians in the background, because that's what she's currently doing. Just thought I'd let you know. Always go for the clean shot first and then try to get something a little more environmental. I find that people in the background can easily ruin great photos, so that's why I always go for the clean shot first, and then Marshall's kind of my backup with the wide, so he's getting everything. I'm just showing you my photos. I have this weird thing where I just don't like to show my seconds photos and claim them as my own. This goes on my blog, this goes in marketing, this goes on YouTube as well, that I will use a photo from time to time, but I'll usually let you know that it is for my second. And yeah, so again, like kind of crossing the streams, I guess, and Marshall shooting Rachel about to come down the aisle, and I am shooting the groom at the front. And this is one of the most important shots, I think, to get, is just to kind of be focused. So I'm not really even looking at him, I'm looking down the aisle, and I have the camera kind of pointed over my shoulders, so I'm not just like completely focused on him. I feel like whenever the groom and I make eye contact in that moment, it's awkward, so I try to avoid that as best possible. You'll also notice my kind of strange off-center cropping sometimes, and that is because I am using single point autofocus, and sometimes it gets me into trouble whenever I'm flipping from vertical to horizontal quickly, and I'm just kind of like moving everything as I go. I'm not relying too much on the camera autofocus as far as like face detection or anything like that, because I just feel like I need to be in complete control specifically in these situations. And yeah, I'm very happy with the extra work, I guess, in order to make sure that I do get the 100% correct images. At this point, I usually just roam around and I just try not to make too much noise. I'll take photos, but I'm not like laying on the shutter or anything. When people clap, when people applaud, when people laugh, I have no problem taking a lot of frames, but usually I'm just trying to be as quiet and respectful as possible, and I'll turn my shutter on to quiet mode. If you have a mirrorless body, you can actually just turn it on to completely silent mode, which is also awesome. So this is me waiting for the first kiss. This is always, I don't know about you guys, but I'm just kind of like, I just stand and freeze and just like wait. And like, if I'm in focus, I just sit there. And I knew that Trish was going to run out of the way. We'll talk about this a little bit more in the editing section, but that is one thing that I actually do talk with the officiant about. Like, first kiss, what do you do? Do you stand there? Do you try to run but like slowly walk? Do you like go really fast? Because I want to know, in this situation, I wanted to go wide because everything in here looks awesome. And I was able to do that, but I went vertical because I knew that she wouldn't really go incredibly too far away. I figured she'd go to like the second groomsman, third groomsman, and hang out there. Also, shooting wide in this section is not something that I usually do, but I love the look of 1.4 when the couple is like nice and crisp and the background's all out. You'll see those images in a second. And so usually I'm a lot further back. I'm kind of like hanging out about here and zoomed in on a 7200 as they walk back. But I feel like you get a really, really great sense of the actual day and of reality when you are just like that close to everything. For family photos, we did them all here. I'm pretty simple. I don't do anything too crazy for family photos. Make sure everybody's looking good. Everybody has a button done up, smiling, facing the camera, and then make sure I'm shooting at like f4 if I have multiple layers so that I can actually get everybody in focus. This 58mm lens has a lot of vignette on it, which is technically a flaw, but I like it a lot. So I'm shooting it wide open or close to wide open at 1.4, 1.6 pretty much all day because I want that vignette. I want that interesting kind of look and feel to all the images. This is me almost stepping on a cell phone, but not quite stepping on a cell phone. And that's how the images look, and I'm super, super happy with them. These are just kind of the basic, like essential, like make sure that we have all these photos, a photo of the bride with all of her girls, the groom with all of his groomsmen, as well as like siblings and family. I run through a pretty specific list, I guess, as long as I know who the family is. But I'm also completely open if somebody else takes the lead on it. I always tell my couples, like, hey, like if you have somebody that knows who everyone is, please have them there for family photos so that they can help direct and just like get the next people on deck. And if dad or mom or whoever tries to run away, that they can bring them back and actually like, I don't know, put together the next photo so I don't have to. It makes things a lot easier. I also ask if there's a lot of family photos. I have no problem asking my couple for like a shot list of everything they want, and then I give that to the other person to help call out those names and make sure that everybody's there. But family photos really are just kind of like whoever is there, just start with them and just get them rolling and get as much done as fast as you possibly can. Get everyone off to cocktails. It's great motivation for everyone. And then for the couple, I'm usually spending like 15, 20 minutes with them after the ceremony, which really isn't that much time, but I'm totally happy with all the photos that I get. I focus really heavily on only shooting what is actually going to work and not experimenting too hard. That's another photo for Laura Mill because it was a really, really nice sunset. Tonight I'm only using one off-camera light. It is to my left. I'll show it to you in a second. Right there. It is a Nikon SB, I'm going to say 700 on Pocket Wizards. I would recommend the Godox flash system now if you don't have a flash or if you don't want to spend the money on Canon or Nikon or Sony gear. Godox is really amazing. And as soon as all of my stuff breaks, I will be getting it. But usually the death of a flash is falling off this light stand, and so far it's survived at least 4 falls. So hopefully this year, maybe I'll just buy it. Maybe that's my takeaway from today's video. All right, first dance, single flash pointed at the brick wall that's like kind of a light gray beside me, and while I am taking a lot of frames, I'm trying not to move around too much. I'm not like sweeping around. Marsha went home, I think, after the ceremony. I think he was supposed to. Yeah, he probably was. I don't see him, so I'm going to 90% certainty he's gone. So just me here, just shooting these. And yeah, trying to get a little creative and also hiding, I guess, because I felt like after 3 minutes of taking photos, I kind of want to go somewhere else. So that is all for this. Let's get to editing, and we'll go through absolutely everything that I took here.
Hey, don't kill my pizza dreams, yo. I don't wanna kill you and your dreams, yo. So, don't kill my pizza dreams, yo. Something cappuccino. Cappuccino. Cappuccino.
Welcome to the live edit. I live down here in the corner. I look more sunburnt than I am in real life. And I'm going to walk you through exactly how I would edit a wedding. And that includes probably all the mistakes I'm going to get up to. So right here are kind of my main presets. So everything you're going to see is straight out of camera. You can see all the settings: ISO 400, 24 millimeter at 1.4, 1/160th of a second. And yeah, so let's just start going through stuff and watch me do some things good, some things bad. So these presets are available in Patreon, or there's a link below if you want to buy them straight out, but it's $30 to buy them straight out, or you can join Patreon for $20 and get like pricing and my initial inquiry scripts and all kinds of other stuff. And also you don't have to stay. You can just hop in for like an hour, consume a bunch of content and leave if you want. I hope that you stick around and that you enjoy the weekly podcast and the Monday business videos, but totally up to you. I will not be offended if you jump in just for the presets. So those presets are available in Patreon, as well as these ones down here, which are my commercial and travel presets. A lot of, I would say pretty much everything I can use on any of my photos that I wouldn't really be offended to use something like this. It's obviously a lot different of an edit, but sometimes the randomness of just like having a bunch of presets that are all kind of the same look and feel but totally different actually work. So like an image like that, I would actually be happy to deliver. It's not my typical wedding style, but I don't think that it's wrong. I think that if that is your style, like definitely you can deliver something like that. Mine is something a little more like that. But let's start at the beginning, which is right here. So yeah, I don't really do a whole lot. I do kind of the same thing. So I'll typically, when I load into Lightroom, I will click on my color preset, and then it does include a little bit of an exposure boost. And if I shot it a little bit too hot as in too much exposure in camera, it'll bring it a little bit higher, I guess, in exposure than I'd want it to be. So I have to bring it back a little bit. But other than that, I'm usually pretty happy. I would say like 90% happy with the preset. So this image specifically, I like the natural vignette. I don't love this sign up here. If you're not used to spot removal, you can usually do that. Sometimes it works. It's pretty close. I have to get a little more accurate. You can also use the bracket keys, like the left and right brackets, to make your size of your brush different. Smaller, larger, whatever you want it to be. Left bracket, I guess, is smaller. Right bracket is larger. Well, that might look a little bit weird to us. I don't think anyone will notice. And just for a quick little edit, for such a small piece, that if this was going in a magazine or something, maybe I would spend a little bit more time on it. But to just kind of include in their wedding day gallery, I'm happy with kind of as it is. I also do my best just to avoid things in real life, so that if there's like lots of stuff like on the walls, pull stations for fire alarms like this guy over here, I do my best to keep it nice and small in the frame if possible, and to not just like put it front and center. You'll see this as we get into some of the ceremony shots, that there is a bright green exit sign, running man sign right above the back of the aisle, which sucks. But there are creative ways to shoot around it, so you don't have to add too much to your post-production. I don't mind these little vents up here. Those are fine as far as I'm concerned. And then also, I feel like this is a broken out window, but I think it's fine. So I'm happy with that image exactly as it is. If I go back in time, I would straighten this runner just a little bit, make it a little more perfect. I do go through and like make sure all the chairs that are going to be in the shots are exactly how I want them to be, because the worst is if like you get back to your computer and this chair right here is just like a little bit too far out and it ruins the entire balance of the shot. The other thing that ruins the entire balance of the shot is the fact that this head table is not centered with this this fireplace right here, which bothers me a lot, because it could have just been over there and then everything would have been perfect. But I don't know. I wasn't there to set up the table. So, all right. So underneath my little photo here, there's a previous button. I use this a lot for just copying the previous settings. So whatever settings I applied to here are now being applied to here. The bad news is that it also includes any spot removal as well. So get rid of those. Actually, you know what? At this point, I think it's going to be a good point to kind of do this. So I'm just adding that preset, and then I'm going to go right to the end of all of the images. Sorry, drag me around here. And I'm going to hit Shift Command S, which is basically sync of everything. I don't want to copy the white balances over, so I'm adding pretty much these settings, this preset here, which includes everything that's in here as well as color and everything, to every image. So I'm just basically going to let everything copy over with the exception of, I guess in this case it doesn't matter, but if I'm using somebody to outsource, what I usually do is I just will kind of leave it as this, so that if they made any adjustments to exposure or shadows or highlights or anything, that those will stay, but my preset, which includes kind of the tone curve and the color and the split tone and everything, will take effect. I don't love it as much. I would prefer if they would just edit straight from my preset, which you can do if you hire somebody to do it, but my company specifically does not do that. So but they're inexpensive, so that's nice. All right, so this is pretty good. As you can see, the color of this front table is a little bit different. So there are a couple ways to approach that. Basically what's happening is over my right shoulder here, there is a bit of a natural light, a window light coming in. So I'm going to just kind of warm this up a little bit. There. Balanced it out. So now I'm happy with that. If I was getting like super technical, I would probably go through and make this more of kind of a nice soft vignette back to the floor rather than this little highlight being here. But that's really kind of just spending a lot of time for things that people won't necessarily care about or even notice or even desire, but that does make it a technically better image. You can also go through with this brush here if the white is kind of picking up a little bit too much of the blue from the windows, so warm that up maybe just like a little bit, and I think I'm pretty happy with that. The other thing you can do is, because it is kind of a highlight of things, you can bring the exposure down just a little bit. You can double click on any of these for them to go back to 0. There. All right, so I'm happy with that. That looks like a nice little image, and I shot it wide open. I usually shoot everything unless I have an exact reason to not shoot wide open. I'm typically shooting wide open just because I really like that look and feel. I also like the natural vignette as well. There's a little Running Man sign up here. We'll see if we can just make it disappear easily. It's a little bit harder only because it's making light on the wall behind it. But I would say it's all right. I don't think that if I would have just opened this image that would have been what I was looking at. I'd be looking at all the floral and arrangements. So cool. All right, so now my preset has not really taken effect on everything. So I'm gonna click it one more time. I screwed up. As I said, I'm gonna screw up a few times. So I'm going to add something like that. And this is kind of the preset settings that I want. Bye-bye. And I'm going to sync all these, and I'm going to include these. So because I'm editing myself and not using my editor to do that. All right, so now everything should be a pretty good baseline to begin. I tend to shoot a lot warmer in camera than maybe is usual for people. I do this mostly because I like the look. I think life looks better in a sunset, which is a funny quote, I guess. So that's kind of like my feeling on the wedding day, that I want images to be warm. I want skin tones to be warm. I'm pretty much always shooting on shade white balance, unless I'm inside or in really weird settings. Like I would consider this a pretty weird setting with all the blue coming through here. It's a very mixed light with fluorescence and also incandescent bulbs. So it's a lot of stuff going on, but I think it turned out pretty all right. So again, or I guess this is different camera, different lens. So I'm shooting my 58-1.4 at this point, and I'm happy with that. Moving on. So I'm pretty much just going through all the images that I actually showed you guys in the video that you just watched. So yeah, that's my life. And I would say typically I'm not spending too much time on each individual image. This would probably make the best black and white image. If I want to do a black and white image, I'm usually copying or right clicking over here and going up somewhere to create virtual copy. And then I will go in and I will create the black and white image from it. I like this a little bit better, just because it punches out the white a little bit, cleans it up. There's underlayers of dresses. I've always found it really challenging to actually photograph dresses in front of light sources like this, even though it's, I would say, the easiest and most traditional by far. Like, this is the shot that I see all of the time. It's not the easiest, I think. So maybe if there is another option, if there's another thing you can hang the dress on, maybe start there next time, rather than just going for the easy shot of hanging it up in front of the window, because you've seen it done a bunch of times. But I think the black and white version looks a lot better. And again, if I was like really kind of getting into it, I could get rid of this little black line here. That might be, we'll try the spot removal of it. I don't want to do that to the dress. I will leave it like that. That might be a Photoshop removal. I feel like this, because this is one of the kind of the key images. I would also go back in time and straighten this hanger a little bit. But I think I was working pretty fast, and also I had to stand on a chair, and I don't like standing on chairs in front of rooms of people, because I feel like that's when something's going to go wrong. All right, super happy with this photo. Not a whole lot to do. I think black and white, it'll also look really good, so I'm gonna give a black and white version as well. And I think that there is kind of how I like it. Cool. And again, like any of these looks from my commercial to travel, it's not like you're not wrong to prefer travel or commercial. It just maybe suits how you shoot, the way that you shoot in camera a little bit better, or maybe even the technical on your camera, what colors it tends to overcompensate or create more of. So you're not wrong if you're using any other presets for weddings, even though I am using 2019 color. I think this will be a nice black and white image as well. I almost just like it like that, even though it's a little bit under. So like a technical correct exposure would probably be somewhere around there, but I honestly like it down there. And I'm going to do another virtual copy. I've also noticed just in general that my couples tend to care less and less about items. The more high-end things that I see, the less they tend to care about them. So I kind of make maybe not a mental note of that. I just know that it is always more important to be photographing the people in the room, and especially if they're having a good time. If there's nothing going on, by all means, take all the time to do all these things. But if people are around and being happy and smiling and enjoying the day, I always focus on them first, and then all this stuff kind of secondary. But I make that very clear in the first meeting. So something like this is the only time that I'll really add any clarity, just because it is kind of a jewelry shot, and they might want a little more clarity in there. And same with this guy. Right now it's a bit underexposed, but I think that's all right there. And I'm starting to get some little artifacts up here. So I'm going to just kind of make those go away. So it's a little cleaner of an image. And I like that. I like, I guess, like shooting ring shots. I use typically at some point, either myself or my second will take some photos of the rings with the Tamron, the 35 version of this. This is the 85 that I also like. The 35 doubles as a macro. This is from my 24, which can kind of macro. You can get a little bit close, but not nearly as close as the 35. The 35 Tamron is a macro. It's a stabilized lens, and it's 35-1.8, which I like. It is kind of the lens that if I'm just like, if that's the only lens I can bring for a digital SLR, it's probably going to be that one, with a close second of the 85mm 1.4, which I do love for all things that maybe a 1.4 shouldn't even really be used for. So I like the way that this looks right here. There's a quick little before, after. So that's just kind of the one click of the preset, and also bringing the exposure down just a little bit. One thing I might try here quickly is just bringing back just a little bit of the dress so it's not too bright, so the focus kind of remains here. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm going to add some skin softening in post-production, so you'll see that these images do clean up quite a lot at the end, the mastering, or whatever you want to call the very end of it. All right, so I'm going to go quickly kind of through all the presets here and just see what one kind of sits the best. I personally like that color pattern the best. And then I'm going to dial back the clarity just a little bit. I like that. And then also in my 2018 pack, I use this summer 2018 Cool quite a lot. But when it's such a, I guess like a challenging lighting situation, like usually everything that I shoot is very easy in comparison. This is a lot more directional, so I will tend to play around a little bit more with it. So I'm happy with an image like that, even though it might maybe look a little bit too dark. I'm also going to consider removing this lamp in post-production. I don't think that this will work, but I'll give it a shot. Just paint it away. Actually, you know what? It might. Close. Let's see. All right, I think we can make it work. Now it's just everything's going wrong. Whatever, I'll do it in Photoshop. The other issue that I have with Lightroom is that on my machine specifically, it's a little bit bloated most of the time, and there are things you can do to actually make it a lot more, I guess, relaxed as far as resources and requirements. You know what? I'm happy with that. I'm going to dial this down a little bit. I typically would say that I spend maybe 20 seconds maximum on an image. So I'm really kind of showing you all the possibilities that you can be doing in these images. So that I'm pretty happy with. Moving next, I think that's a little underexposed. I think this was also my mistake in camera because it was pretty dark in camera to begin with. And when you add my preset, the black point does come down a little bit because I like those that good natural contrast. I'm pretty happy with that. All right, next. Another good image. This will make a good black and white as well. I'm pretty totally happy with it. I might even kind of do something like that. I just don't want the fingers to completely disappear on this side. Black and white it's fine. Just gonna leave it in color. I think a lot of the post-production and probably why it takes everyone a super long time to actually do post-production is because there is no real like right or wrong way to do anything. That there's like 150 ways that I can edit this image. I could edit something like that. I can edit somewhere like that. And then I can also like add all the finishing touches of bringing all these highlights back and really kind of making the focus just on Rachel. And then adding more contrast, less contrast, something like that I'm pretty happy with, right about there. So that's really, really nice. I like that a lot. The original version that I processed this in was actually kind of green. It was almost like a cross-process tone. I prefer this a lot more. And then also this frame is kind of creeping a little bit whiter than I want it to be. So I might do that to kind of really kind of clean it up and make it something that I'm super proud of. So I am 100% happy with that image. All right, moving into their first look. Challenging, again, lighting. If you ever need to kind of get a white balance point or at least a starting point, grab this little dropper here and put it on either a black or a white to at least like hopefully get somewhere to start. If you're ever just in like such challenging conditions you can't do anything at all, the solution is usually just to make it black and white. Gonna move me. Woo. So I think that's pretty close. But again, I always aim on the warmer side of things. So I might even go back here and just kind of make that a little bit warmer. So this is, I'm watching her come down the stairs, and that white balance needs a lot of help. It's too bright. Something like that is technically good, but I'll go a little bit warmer. And then bottom of the stairs. Again, clicking the previous button. Happy with that. And then usually if I have a lot of images that are kind of in the same exact setting, specifically family portraits, I'll just grab them all and just do a little sync between all of them so that I don't have to go individually through each and every image. Cool. So that worked out pretty well. As you know, it rained, so we had to do pretty much everything inside. So it was a bit of a challenge with such a big wedding party, but I am super happy with the results. So I'm editing kind of for the highlight first, which is right about there. And then I'm going to kind of come in with a graduated filter here and just bring the exposure back just like a little bit to balance things out. And then also this side, because it's way brighter than the other side, and somewhere around there, I am pretty happy. So that was pretty quick edit. This is the straight out of camera version, which is nice. This is the edited version, which is a little bit nicer. I love how much Rachel kind of pops out of everyone as far as like just her dress and everything. So I'm happy with that photo. All right, same deal. Editing kind of for the highlight first, and then I'm going to come in with the graduated filter just to remove a little bit of the overexposed ground, because it was a very directional light, and then same kind of that side there. Cool, happy with that. So getting more into some couples portraits, very tight location to work with. Usually we have a lot more space. We have a park, we have something. Today, not so lucky, but we do have a beautiful interior space, so I am very happy with it. Cool, something like that's nice. I like this image a lot. I'm going to also do this one in a black and white. Maybe not that black and white. Maybe that black and white right there. Cool, happy with that. And again, maybe I can do a little graduated filter here just to... All right, moving on. I think it's important not to stare too long at any specific image. Otherwise, you just keep second guessing yourself and you give them like 55 versions of the same image. All right, good. Happy with that. And then graduated filter here. And then you can also just keep adding graduated filters. So that was kind of for the dress. And then this is kind of more for the floor. Happy with that. And then, cool. A little bit under again. My fault with that. And this is a photo that the 58mm 1.4 really does kind of shine at. It does, I would say, just kind of a normal job in a lot of circumstances. And then there's a few circumstances that it really pops out at. And that is specifically with the way that it kind of melts from in focus to out of focus, both in the background behind Rachel and then also before her, kind of over his shoulder here. So I'm pretty happy with that photo as it is right there. Cool. I'm going to try a little graduated filter here. And I almost like the way that that's almost a little too dramatic for me. And this kind of also just kind of shows you all the possible variations within this. So this was the same shot. This is rotated. This is getting a little bit just like kind of trying to get them to forget about the fact that I'm there. This is just getting a little bit closer, and this is getting really nice and close. So again, like one of the reasons that I do like prime lenses a lot is because it forces me to actually go out and do these things rather than like just kind of zooming around to get lots of different variations. That the background is a lot different in this photo than it is in this photo. As you can see. So you can kind of play around with that and over time eventually figure out exactly what you like the best. So if you like that portrait shot, now you know that this is your go-to, that you need to be 4 feet away. I also just noticed that there's a little Mickey here. I'm going to hide him. Goodbye, Mickey. So yeah, again, like a shot that the 58 really does kind of shine through at with this kind of nice, soft, shallow depth of field focus, as well as the roll off. It's a fun word to say. All right, so this is obviously way too warm. The other thing you can do is you can try auto if you just have no idea. Like that's pretty good. That's done. Next. Kind of the same image. I'll just do a quick little. Doesn't want to let me sync because I didn't select another image to sync it with. That's the important thing that you have to do. Cool. So that looks good. Just want to make it straight. The thing that I fail at the most is just keeping images straight. I don't know what my deal is, but I'm always on a slant. If somebody can invent a camera that just Instead of stabilization, all I want is just like, don't let me have that 10% slant. Cool. I'm going to maybe even calm this down a little bit. Maybe not. Maybe we go this way. Yeah, that looks better. All right, so a lot of images that I take are for the couple as well as for the actual venue. I know that I'm a preferred vendor here, and I know that the more images that I can give them, the happier they're going to be with me. So I do everything I can to get them images that they can use, just kind of their evergreen. So as you can see up here, the little Running Man green sign that I'm trying to hide the best I can. You can crop it, but like then it's just kind of a weird door frame crop that I don't love. So I typically leave this in, and then for the bride coming down the aisle, bride, groom, anybody really important, I'm also doing a vertical shot or a horizontal shot of it as well, just to make sure that I have both those variations, but I'm pretty happy with that. Also, before this begins, we just like go through everyone and just take candids of everybody in this room because the light is good here. And we know to shoot a lot of candids really fast whenever the lighting is good. And it's definitely good today. So I am very happy with this shot, the way that it came together. I don't really notice this as being a distraction. The Running Man sign, maybe this guy's kind of staring a little bit weird, but it's not much you can do about that. That's one of the hardest things, and the reason that I do like shooting with not a whole lot of depth of field is because if specifically for first dances, like I've had so many amazing images ruined just by somebody being on their phone and not paying attention to the first dance. But if they are just super out of focus in the background, they can kind of be doing whatever they want and they won't directly get focused. Like maybe if you stare at this image for a while, you start to notice what people in the background are doing. But for the most part, if you're just looking at the image, you don't notice that. All right. Looks good. And again, like I'm trying to get the best clean shot I kind of can with nothing happening. I don't love, so there was somebody standing kind of right here that was from the venue staff. So I had to shoot a little bit around them. So otherwise I would be trying to get them like kind of just straight centered in the center. But I'm working on elements that I just wasn't really able to 100% make my own, I guess, on the day. All right, so looking pretty good. Warm it up a little bit. Bride coming down the aisle. Very happy. A little underexposed. And again, not too underexposed in camera just because of the black point coming down. But that is kind of what I am, that's what I actually like, so. And you'll also probably notice that I do tend to have one weird crop shot every ceremony like this. And this is because I'm single point AF. So my AF is locked over kind of on this side. And I'm doing a quick focus recompose. So now I'm slowly moving my point over while I'm also shooting. But I actually kind of, I don't hate this shot the way that it came out. I like it a lot better actually. With a little less individuals in the background. So as they're getting to the front, now that's front, happy with that. And this is kind of, I would say, the more traditional speed that I would be retouching, that the preset is usually a one-click preset, and then just the exposure is the only thing that I'm really changing often. For this image here, I'll probably get rid of this, or at least see if Lightroom can do a decent job of it. Yeah, that's all right by me. I'd maybe also remove this guy who's looking out over this way, but I don't know if the couple would notice them. I'm sure they would eventually, but maybe not right away. So again, just kind of exposure, drags. And I'm pretty happy with that white balance. I know it's maybe a little bit warm. I'll try it on, actually auto is what worked really well here. You know what, that looks better. I like that version right there the best. That looks nice. For the skin tones though, so back here, I'm kind of editing for the full scene, which is maybe a little bit too magenta on their skin tones. But over here, I'm editing more directly for their skin tones. First kiss, Trish trying to escape out the side here. One of the questions that I will typically ask, sorry, bridesmaid number 3, that I typically will ask the officiant is what their plan is during the first kiss, just so I'm aware of it. If I know specifically I knew Trish was gonna like get out of here as fast as she could, so I actually shot at 24, which is super rare for me, because it would have been so easy for any of these individual people to kind of like ruin this shot. Marshall had my back with a close-up safety shot, but I figured with this setting that this is kind of like, I don't know, the most prime optimal possible setup for a first kiss. So I kind of wanted to get everything. And then again, them coming down, I would typically be on my 7200, but because it was just Marshall and myself here today, I was more than happy to kind of get nice and close. And with this 24, I really do love shooting 24 millimeters at like 1.4, 1.6 like I'm doing here. It's a look and feel that I really love. So that's why I do it. And then also the natural vignette that kind of creeps in the edges as well. And you can see as I get closer that that she's now like, this is just center point composition because I'm so wide. So it's like center, and then I'm kind of tracking her face manually. So that's why I kind of get a little off there. These signs suck. They're very beautiful in real life, but for photos, it's so hard to shoot a transparent sign. I feel like that's the best I could do. I could have like moved over just ever so slightly to get the E in there as well, and that would have been perfect. But it's all about just finding backgrounds that are darker than whatever the text color is, or lighter if the text is black, I guess. Again, trying to get everything exactly right in camera. One step click with the preset, and I'm happy. Wow, I actually shot this one. It's like the second photo I've ever taken of a group that has been properly aligned. So once I add a second layer of people, usually I am going back to F2 or 2.8 or F4 or something like that. But I was leaving this wide open, maybe because I forgot, or maybe because I still wanted that nice vignette. Because when I'm shooting circular elements like this background here, I kind of want to keep that vignette as active as possible, I guess, to blend into the scene. And it's a vignette that is both in like kind of darkness, but also you can see kind of the fade of like focus here as well. So it does a lot of things, and it's specifically just the lens that does this. So it's yeah, figure out the strengths of everything and use it. So again, like this was the image straight out of camera and just adding the preset, and that's what it did, and I'm super happy with it. I would probably only give them one of these images. I think this is a stronger image than this image right here. I feel like this tells a little bit more of a story, so I'd probably give them that one. I don't need to give it in black and white. Colors are good, skin tones are good. Black and white is usually just to like really accentuate a specific moment that the color is distracting, or to save an image that's in weird mixed lighting situations. Cool, happy with that. Happy with that. And I really do try to keep my presets to something that I'm happy with year after year. It's something that I've learned the hard way of over time. Again, this is the 24 when you get like really nice up close with a wide angle lens. I really love that look. So something that I've learned over time is the fact that like it's just unfortunate when you edit an entire gallery in a way that 2 years from now you hate it. So I really do try to err on the side of just not editing and not over post processing, because I know that I'm going to hate it eventually. Whereas if I keep it pretty chill, I'm usually pretty happy. So the images that I got at the very beginning, that we went through the detail shots, that was just kind of the safety shots. Now they've lit all the candles, so I want to come back in here and reshoot everything, which is kind of usually a bit of a challenge. If you have a second photographer, it's awesome because they can just run in and do this. For me specifically, it was a bit of a venue thing that I needed to kind of get these shots. And I always feel weird. I know legally, I can't believe I didn't move that bag or these shoes. That like legally I'm allowed to use my second photographer's images like any way that I want, that if I give them to the venue, that's totally fine. But I do find that just personally, I would rather not ever have to use those shots. So if I can get in and spend 5 minutes to get the shots to give to the venue, I'm going to be a lot happier than if I have to deliver my seconds photos. So again, kind of as we did before, that you can just kind of run through here like this. Exposure down, maybe just a little bit less, and then add a little bit more warmth to it to balance it with the room. And now it looks like it's part of the room, even though there's a bag that I didn't move, so my bad. Same shot, same off-center fireplace. So that was a pretty good best guess. Let's see what auto does. That's better. So straightening it out. Again, 10% slant. And again, I didn't notice this. So half the trick to taking good detail photos is just being detail oriented enough to see what you need to change and actually fix in real life, because it's way easier to fix it in real life than it is to fix it in post-production. So this is a bit of a challenge because there's blue coming through the ground there. I'm gonna leave it as that. So even though it's a little mixed blue on the outside, I think that it's pretty good, especially as like a little 20-second edit. You can also leave these images a lot warmer because like obviously they want the ambience to be kind of that candle lit. So even something like that, I wouldn't be too upset with delivering. But again, kind of erring just on the side of like maybe just not enough, but making sure things are straight. Cool. There's a lot more images that would be part of this gallery. Would be a lot of Marshall's images in here, as well as just like pretty much every individual element. I would go through and take a photo of everything that they put time and effort into bring to the wedding, which includes table cards. And usually I'm selective over whose table cards I actually take photos of, which is usually kind of a parent or the bride and groom if they've done something for themselves, which sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. These lights are a little bit challenging because they are kind of really bright, and it's not a J.J. Abrams lens flare. That's actually what the light does to the wall. You could kind of go through and just like manually do something like that, but I don't think it was that big of a deal. It shows the scene, it shows the I don't know, the look and feel of the event. Cool. So this was this was actually sunset. Let's see the maybe not quite. Okay, so I did this twice. So this was actual sunset. So this was before. This is the safe shot that I make sure that I get everywhere. I take this like probably 10 or 15 times over the day. With the venue in the back is awesome, and just them smiling, looking happy. This is the image that every family member is going to want. So I'll do a little bit extra to make it a little bit more perfect. I probably won't go through and take out this line, even though maybe it wouldn't be that much effort. So maybe it's worth it. You know what? I'm gonna leave the line. That's a Photoshop job, in my opinion. It's much easier just to make a quick select and then do either a content aware fill or a patch tool, or even just use a clone brush. There's like 50 ways to do everything in Photoshop, kind of like Lightroom, kind of like photography, kind of like everything in life, I guess. So this is kind of the actual natural warmness of the room. So I'm gonna add a little bit of that back. Something like right about there, I think, is kind of how it felt in real life there. And I can see that I've kind of blown out the light in the background, but I don't think it's that important to keep it. I guess I can, and it doesn't affect their skin. I'm always about making sure their skin tones look good and making sure that they both look good in the photo. That's the most important part to me. Getting a little purple down here in my own window. All right, so this is the sunset time. And I'm going to add kind of that looks all right. This is a bit of a comparison. So this is the 24-1.4 wide open from a certain distance. And then the next image is from the 58. I think kind of roughly same distance back from them. I tend to stay kind of, I would say the same distance, regardless of how I'm shooting or what I'm shooting. And I let the lenses kind of be the variables rather than running in and out. Once I've kind of established a comfortable distance, I'm usually kind of just happy to stay there. I feel like that keeps it normal. But as a comparison, that image is fine. It's great. It's whatever. But that image I find is a lot better in my opinion, and somewhere around there. So even though like usually I'd edit their skin tones, like this is like the light and airy that you can do. But I think that when it's a sunset and when there's lots of cool tones, that you can do something a little more like that. You can also come in here with the graduated filter and really kind of like warm things up and change the scene a bit if you're feeling that. I feel like by using graduated filters, you can kind of hide the edits a little bit more. That if I went in with just like a brush and just did everything and just brought this sky back entirely, which might be possible. Yeah, so like I could bring the sky back to somewhere like that and still keep them in like good focus. But I think that that looks a little too over processed for me, and I'm much happier with that. And I feel like they're very happy with that image as well. So this is with the sky. So maybe this will be a multiple layer Photoshop job as well. Maybe not. I think that looks nice. There's a weird little light or something up here. So this again is an image that I would be shooting kind of just for the venue. It's like, it's nice for the couple, but it's very much an image that is more primarily for Laura Mill, for them to use in their marketing materials. And it was just like, it's there, it's good for the couple, but also I understand the value of it for me, even though there's like this little rope kind of hanging down here. I don't know. Maybe I'll make that go away. I don't know yet. So this is one single, as you saw, like off-camera flash, keeping it really easy. I find that the less of a show I can put on at the reception, the happier I usually am with the photos. This might be a little too contrasty. I might switch the preset up. Oh, I don't know. I don't like that. Too yellow. Way too contrasty. You know what? I might even leave it under like that. That is something that I never really do, but I feel like that's a very romantic kind of look. And then I want to make sure that their skin tones are a little more accurate. So yeah, something like that I'm happy with. And then we'll see what this does just with one click. That's not it. That's a little better. So cool. I'm very happy with that image. Even though there is a bit of extra space maybe on this side, I'll maybe make that a little darker just to frame the image in a little bit. And I'm super happy with that. Again, very dark. Something like that I'm super happy with. I like kind of the dark and moodiness of it. I know that most of my outside work is a lot just kind of brighter in general, but I have no problems when somebody's spent the time and money and effort to make a room look like it did, which is very candlelit, very romantic, very dark. I have no problems making my photos look like that to match the room. And I also want to make sure that his jacket is appropriate to what it was. I found that even though down here their skin tone was maybe like a little bit closer, but his jacket was not the color that it was in real life. All right. I like this one a lot. I feel like this is almost like they were just hit by like the most perfect kind of bounce light that I was bouncing off this wall over here. I might not even do anything to that image. That I could do a lot of things, but I might just do this and give it in black and white as well. And it's a little, you know what? I don't like it as much in black and white, which is very, very strange. So happy with that. Straight out of camera looks like this, which is fine. It's nice. A little bit extra. Maybe a little too magenta. Right about there is good. Cool. Happy. I feel like this is more of just kind of a documentary style image. Make sure it's straight. And the other, I guess, like the best part about just having a single off-camera flash is that you kind of, when you have something to bounce light off of, you can really just kind of illuminate them in a darker space. So I love the fact that everybody's kind of in the darkness and they're in a spotlight that doesn't look like it's like a spotlight that I put there by any means. All right. So that is all. That is all of the images from at least the video that I showed you there. I'm going to say that I typically would deliver about 600 from a day like this. That was, I'd say close to like 8 hour day. I'm happy to deliver 600 great images, and I usually go through and I make sure that I do not deliver too many duplicate images. This one is my favorite, so I might spend a little bit more time doing maybe 1 or 2 or 3 different versions of it to see which one I like the best, and then upload that to Instagram. But other than that, I am happy with these images, and I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks for hanging out with me here in this bottom corner where I'm overexposed, and you can see my musical microphone over here, as well as my Mickey Mouse hiding out over there. This is a Mickey for something that maybe you'll see upcoming. It's a very elaborate joke that I think only myself, Tim, and Blair will get, who is the crew that does all our music videos. So we'll see if anyone else finds it funny, and if they do, great. If not, that's cool. It made us laugh for a very long time. So thanks for watching, and I will see you again on another video another time in the YouTube land. Goodbye.